I like to make a ground, an undercolor to put the image over. So let's see. I'm going to mix up a kind of very pale neutral violet. I'm working on copper plates that are just all messed up. You know, stuff has hardened on them. That's why the plate is so dark instead of copper colored. Okay. All right. So there's some ink on there. And there's actually too much ink, so my instinct is to blot off the excess. So for a moment, I'm going to put that aside and get rid of this. Clean off the bed. And now put this down. I'm using the marks underneath for registration. Not that it has to be exact. Ah, right now there's a ton of ink on the surface. So we're going to come over here again. I want to be careful to protect the paper so that in the process of working on it, I don't mess up the borderland around the image. That's removing the ink. It's reversed, obviously, because it's a pressing. So I keep these. I keep these because they tell me a lot about possibilities for developing form and for drawing. Like something like this, I would probably never make a painting or a drawing that looked like that, but this was an accident. And I look at, I mean, not an accident, this was a rubbing, and I look at it and think, wow, you know, this is really interesting. That piece of blue and that piece of yellow and this yellow over here, and you really don't need a lot more. So I save these and I look at them because they register with a kind of an information that's very useful. So at this point, I'm really aware that I'm looking at a thing that's very different from what I saw. And what I tend to do is work on these and come back over the course of some days. I'll put them on the rack over here and let them sit. Now what happened to that little blue? As in working on paintings, there are aspects that I like to go back and maybe think about. To try and clarify certain aspects structurally. That now I'm looking at the reality of the image. I'm not comparing it to a drawing. And I'm asking myself certain kinds of questions instinctively or intuitively. The things that we think about in our heads in painting and drawing are parts of long, extended, evolving conversations that happen not so much, just as much when we're not painting and drawing. Driving around or walking around or riding the bike through neighborhoods and looking at buildings and considering the quality of a pink wall next to a piece of yellow trim. All this stuff informs us because as long as we're awake, we're processing everything. That process never stops. If we're really involved with our visual life, we're working all the time. So what I found is that there's something about this whole process of the monotype that lends itself to a certain kind of consideration that's more like drawing than painting, yet is also very similar to painting.